Hey, everybody. I know it's late, but all I need is about 10-15 minutes of your time and we'll get the show on the road. Please tell me in the comments below if you can hear me loud and clear so that we can do the right thing. Go ahead and break that down for me. What does that say down there? Does that say something? What does that say? I was looking for a filter. And I guess the filter that I chose comes with this. I've just noticed that text on the bottom there. I don't even know what that is. Somebody please explain to me what we're looking at. I hope it's not abrasive. I hope it's not something that I will regret. Hey, Joseph Chishimba, I see you. Somebody tell me, please, what have I done? What have I chosen in a bid? Hey, Bo, Bo, could you explain to me what have I done here? Right before I went live, I was scrolling through the effects portion of the app. Because, I was looking for a filter that would sort of complement what we're doing. It's very difficult to go raw these days, especially if you have, insecurities about the way you look. Sometimes you need a filter just to feel a bit confident. Not something that is overbearing or something that is obviously not you, but just something that helps you. So as I was scrolling through, I came across this one and I thought, okay, this one's not so bad. But I didn't realize that it came with text. So I certainly hope I haven't outdone myself by choosing something abrasive. Bo Allen, tell me what that is, and anybody else, please explain to me what I've written there. I may have to edit all of that out in post, and then we can. Somebody says it's just okay. Okay, that's great. All right, guys, just very quickly, I know it's after 7. I'm not sure who's playing football tonight, and I would imagine that one of your favorite teams is playing. All I need is a couple of minutes of your time. I wanted to come to you and share with you, not too long ago, I was watching bits and pieces of ECL being Edgar Lungu, 6th and former president of this great republic. He held a press conference with a few of his homeboys, and a young journalist by the name of Mwewa from Hope Channel, Zambia, asked the former and 6th president, a question that I felt was quite straightforward and very simple. And before I read to you what he said, before I read to you the question, because I wrote it down, and it's verbatim. This is verbatim. This is word for word what the young man asked the former and 6th president, Edgar Lungu. Before I read it to you, I want you to know that when ECL was the president of this republic, he was heavily shielded and heavily guarded in terms of what you could ask him, what you could say to him. Let's be clear. In a PF regime, this young man would have been beaten, would have been bludgeoned, would have been strongly, violence would have been meted out against him almost instantly. Because to the PF cadres, this type of questioning was not only abrasive as far as the PF is concerned, but to the PF cadres, it would have been tantamount. You know the word tantamount? In Zambia we say tantamount, which is fine. To the PF cadres, this question would have been tantamount. It would have been equal to an insult. PF cadres would have said, "Watuka bakateka iwe." Wewe pushe fifuma question if ule shaba kateka question ya msango wali samwai twala kudiringa mulete nyu mulumendo kuna twala mchita dirix nefima kadas nga fyalisa fyakuchita swarm fidabalanda mu kisungu eryo fyakuchita no deal. In a PF regime, this type of questioning would have landed this young man in dire trouble. And I'm not joking when I say that. So you must also understand that former President Lungu no longer has the luxury of being shielded from questions. He no longer has that. Now he's as vulnerable as a rabbit in an open field with a sky full of hungry eagles. Now, because ECL has put his foot forward and he wants the Zambian people to reconsider him for office again, because he no longer stands under the pavilion of the presidency, because he's no longer shielded from kadas and protocol and this and that and the other, any journalist can ask him those tough, pressing, demanding questions. And he has no choice but to deal with them. But, you know, Elson said to me the other day, there's no such thing as a bad question. It just depends on how you answer it. That's good. Let me say that again because I think that's important. There is no such thing as a bad question. Only the way you choose to answer it. So here it is. Let's go through it. You remember ECL with a bunch of his homeboys. They had a joint press conference. A young man by the name of Mwewa from Hope Channel Zambia, he said, Your Excellency, in reference to Lungu, he said, in the 7 years that you ruled Zambia, I don't like the word rule, I prefer served. You know, and journalists, please, let's move away from using this word. Nobody rules anybody. In a democratic dispensation, there is no ruling. It's serving. When the Zambian people place you in office, you are serving. You're not ruling, okay? But the journalist, for the sake of being accurate in terms of quoting him word for word, verbatim, I'll use the word rule because that's the word he used. The young man said, in the 7 years that you have ruled Zambia, your party accrued huge debts. And the current economic mess is a result of the huge debt. Now, had you been able to continue to rule Zambia, how, and this was the question, how were you going to deal with the current debt? Okay? And what is the correct let me say it here. Basically, he was saying, what should the current government do in order to effectively deal with the debt restructuring program? That was the question, okay? ECL, instead of answering the question, he deflected the question. ECL started saying, no, we are not the ones in power. So you can't ask me that question. Go and ask HH. No, that question is malicious. It's contemptuous. He was all over the place. He was doing everything except deal with the question. Now, if you, as a former head of state, you absolutely refuse to deal with the question and instead you begin to scapegoat, you begin to deflect attention, you begin to say that, no, we are not the ones in power. Go and ask HH. But the question is, one of the reasons we're in the economic doldrum that we're in now as a nation is a direct consequence of the huge debt that your government accumulated when you were in government. And part of the reason we're going through what we're going through is because of the debt restructuring program that this government is doing everything within its power to sort of get on an even keel to deal with it. ECL didn't answer the question. He just deflected. He basically shifted the responsibility from answering the question, and he offloaded it onto HH. And such people are dangerous, especially in a relationship. Imagine for a moment if a husband and wife are going through some financial difficulties, and the wife says to the husband, "You don't manage our money correctly." Why don't you manage our money correctly? You don't pay for the school fees. You don't pay for transportation for the kids. You don't give the kids any money. You don't support me with anything. You don't buy me any clothes. Why don't you do that? What would you think if the man said, "Well, you know what? Don't ask me that question. Ask your ex-boyfriend. Because after all, you were with him before you came to me." What would you think of such a man? You would say that he's gaslighting you. When anybody begins to shift the responsibility from answering a direct question, and then they turn around and then blame it on someone else, that's cause for concern. That's worrisome. That's a bad place to be. And anyone that does that to you is gaslighting you. Do you know what it means to gaslight? It means they are diffusing your serious concern. They're diluting your complaint. They're saying, "Oh no, what you're talking about is not important. We should be talking about this." Dangerous. Not a good thing. So in my view, I think that the sixth and former President Lungu now recognizes that he is no longer in power. He is no longer shielded by the PF Kadas, who would have killed this boy, Mwene from Hope Channel, Zambia. And this kid, this was a very well thought out question. If you watch the tape, it's a very well thought out question. But ECL chose not to do it. Somebody says all presidents do that. No, not every single president. There are certain presidents that they answer the question. They deal with it straight ahead. But when you deflect, you are shirking the responsibility off onto others. And you're saying it's their fault. I've got nothing to do with it. And then ECL says, why are we talking about the past? Why are they talking about the... Well, if you don't know your history, guess what? You are doomed to repeat it. That's why people talk about the past, is because they don't want it to happen again. Are you hearing that? That was deep right there. That should resonate. That should sizzle in your spirit. That's saying something. Okay? Alrighty. Okay, I gotta go. Gotta go home. I'm late. It's almost 8 o'clock. Thanks for listening, guys. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.